are reconvening the today is February 14th, 2018, in conference room 224, and we are reconvening the Joint Committee on Higher Education and the Committee on Water Land, and we are reconvening for decision making on Senate Bill 3090 relating to government and the proposed Senate Draft 1. After a very interesting hearing on Monday where the committees learned a lot, and after extensive consultations with the members and reading all of the testimony that we were able to digest, it's going to be the committee's recommendation to pass Senate Bill 3090 with amendments. There are significant amendments to the bill. We'll go through what we're going to change. First of all, the committee will be incorporating all of the amendments that was recommended by the Attorney General that has been posted on the website. The committee will also be incorporating the amendments recommended by the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, specifically numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in their testimony. And I will read some of the amendments that are significant to the bill. We have several pages of those. The first thing will be on page 96, part 3 of the bill. We're going to insert a defective date, December 31st, 2033. We are on page 5, lines 19 and page 7 through page 7, line 5. We're going to strike that language and change the composition of the board. We're going to reduce the board from 9 members to 7 members. We're going to require that 4 seats on the board be comprised of Hawaii Island residents. We're going to provide a maximum of 2 terms for board members and 4-year term limits. We're going to stagger the board. The board will select their own chair. All board members will be appointed by the governor. All 7 members will be appointed by the governor, with 2 of the seats that will be selected by the governor from a list provided by the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, similar to how OHA selects Island Bureau Council members. The 7 members of the Mauna Kea Management Authority Board, 1 member will come from the astronomy, will be an astronomy expert, but one that is not currently employed in an astronomy facility or through the Institute for Astronomy. 1 board member will be a land management expert. 2 board members will be business members that have expertise in real estate, property appraising, accounting, finance, economics, and/or innovation. The 4th board member will be an environmental expert. The 5th. And then the final 2 members will be cultural members, one that is a practitioner or a lineal descendant, and then one that is an expert on traditional and customary practices or Hawaiian history. And like I said before, all 4 of the 7 seats will come from Hawaii Island. On page 8, lines 3 through 6 and 15 and 17, since the board will be compensated, we are going to remove the requirement for an executive director. So any language that refers to an executive director will be removed from the bill, since the board members will be full-time board members and will be expected to perform in that capacity. We're going to add a startup cost and a blank appropriation for startup money for the Mauna Kea Management Authority. On page 5, line 17, 18, we're going to administratively attach the Mauna Kea Management Authority to the Department of Accounting and General Services rather than the Office of the Governor. On page 8, line 5 through 6, we're going to delete the exemption from Chapter 76 for employees, the civil service chapter in the HRS. This is an OHA ad for administrative rules. We're going to ensure that we require consultation with OHA to ensure protection of traditional and customary Native Hawaiian practices. We are going to clarify that the Mauna Kea Management Authority cannot alienate Mauna Kea Management Authority lands, so we will delete all references to the ability to sell or exchange Mauna Kea lands, including any remnants. We will also clarify the continued applicability of the Conservation District rules. Under the telescope requirements, where we acknowledge 13 telescopes exist today, but 9 telescopes must exist by 2028. We're going to also add a telescope. We're going to also add a footprint cap to the bill. This footprint cap will be that the total combined footprint of all structures, buildings, telescopes shall not exceed the footprint as of December 31st, 2031. So by December 31st, 2031, whatever is the footprint on Mauna Kea is a footprint for perpetuity.
Sorry, did you skip this one on purpose? Which one? To lead or was that building? So
I just said it.
So you said this one? Okay.
I did that. Did I not say it? I can say it again. This one? Did I miss one? Oh. Okay, okay, sure. So that is the telescope structure footprint on Mauna Kea. Just to make sure it's for the record, we're going to clarify that the Mauna Kea Management Authority cannot alienate Mauna Kea Management Authority lands. We will delete all references to the ability to sell or exchange Mauna Kea lands, including remnants. Is that correct? Okay. We're going to require the authority to establish policies that allow reasonable access for traditional and customary purposes. We're going to remove the specificity to business hours. We're going to require that the Management Authority submit annual reports to the legislature for dispositions, including their annual budget, their expenditures, and we're also going to require updates to the legislature on the status of the administrative rules and implementation of the management plans. In regards to the management plan, we're going to require that the comprehensive management plan to include benchmarks for implementation of those comprehensive management plan items that have not been completed, especially items that should have been completed within 1 to 3 years of the acceptance of the CMP implementation plan in 2010. In particular, these would be items that are of Native Hawaiian significance. We're including the Mauna Kea Management Board. We are going to authorize the board to adopt advisory committees to advise the Mauna Kea Management Authority Board on culture, science, environment, education, astronomy, and/or business. These advisory committees can come from the University of Hawaii, the Institute for Astronomy, DLNR, DHHL, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, DOFA. We are going to make technical, non-substantive changes to the bill, minor edits to the preamble in reference to removing the words global, modern, and a reference to new modern model for governance. And finally, we're going to assure that the Conservation District rules applicability will maintain in contested case opportunities in Conservation District use application process. And so similar to BLNR decisions, the Mauna Kea Management Authority's decisions, insofar as they impact constitutional rights such as Native Hawaiian traditional customary rights and right to a healthy environment per recent cases, require the granting of contested case hearings, notwithstanding a statutory omission of Native Hawaiian cultural practitioners' right to constitutional due process, even if it's not called for under statute. So we will adhere to the existing process for contested case hearings. And as I mentioned before, adopting the Attorney General's recommendations and the recommendations by the Office of Hawaiian Affairs in the items that I had stated previously. That was a lot. Members, any questions? Okay, we will adjourn. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
We're not going to adjourn. This is going to go get oh, you got to get your guys. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Senator Thielen?
Oh, okay, that's the other room, huh?
Yes, the other room.
So I just wanted to thank the chair for the amendments that you've put into the bill. I think it's made the bill, addressed a lot of the concerns that were raised during the hearing. As I've shared with the chair, I'm going to support the amended bill with reservations. I guess the reservation I still have that I'm wrestling with is to set up self-supporting governance structure, just because I don't want to have that come into conflict later on with the resource management and cultural management priorities. But I think a lot of the changes that you've put into the bill address a lot of that underlying concern, and I really appreciate the work that you've done on it.
Thank you. Senator Revere.
I have similar comments to the previous speaker. I really appreciate all the work you've done and the willingness to work on the nuts and bolts of this, and it's coming along very, very well. So I want to support the continued conversation of this. I do have concerns about the economics of it and some of the nuts and bolts and the obligations and whether or not this new entity will have the accountability that we hope. And so for some of those reasons, I'm supportive of this going forward, but I'll go with reservations at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions, members? Okay, we're going to adjourn for decision making so we can get Senator Kidani to join us.